what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today's topic is going to be 5 questions for training camp, which kicks off this week. But before we get started, I just want to mention that you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So now that we got that out of the way, let's get started with my 5 questions heading into training camp, and starting off with number 1, and possibly quite the most important question for the New York Jets is, are we going to see a significant leap in year 2 from Sam Darnold? Now, year 1 started out a little bit slow. Then it picked up after his injury. It started with the Buffalo game. Then we obviously know what he did against Green Bay and Houston. He had a pretty solid stretch run there towards the end of the season and finished rather strong. Does that carry over into year 2, and does he take that next step? We saw it with a bunch of quarterbacks in recent years. Carson Wentz did it just a few years ago. Jared Goff from the same draft class did it. And we also saw it from Mitch Trubisky last year. It's important for quarterbacks to take that next step in development, and year 2 is extremely important. And it's going to be even more important because the Jets have this pressure in order to win rather quickly because of the amount that they've struggled over the last 3 years. They are the only team in the NFL not to win 6 games in a season in one of the last 3 years. That's crazy to me. But nonetheless, Sam Darnold is going to have a lot of pressure on him because he has to prove that he is the guy. And is he going to be able to do that? I think he does, but that's going to be shown throughout the season. But we need to see signs of that in training camp. Dominate the 7-on-7 drills. Dominate the one-on-ones in the matchups that you're going to be able to get. That is what I want to see out of Sam Darnold in training camp. And throughout the season, I want him to prove that he is the guy. Question number 2 is, what kind of coach is Adam Gase? Is he the guy we saw in year 1 in Miami that pretty much overachieved with the 2016 Dolphins team? Or is he the 7-9 coach who's a psychopath and derails locker rooms? We need to see what kind of coach he's going to be. He made some bold predictions today, and we're probably going to do a whole video on that, but he seems extremely confident. He's an offensive mind. He's everything you want in the coach in terms of his mindset of, being offensive minded and being young. But is he going to be divisive in the locker room? That's really my biggest question. And if he is, this is going to be an unmitigated disaster. But if he's able to keep his cool and he's able to take some things that he did well in Miami and grow on that with the stable front office now with the Jets, that's going to be huge. And that is my number 2 question. Question number 3 is, Marcus Maye going to stay healthy? He only played 6 games last year. He missed 10, and he is starting on the PUP list. Not a great sign, and the Jets desperately need him to be healthy because they don't have a ton of secondary depth. This team doesn't have a ton of depth to begin with, but especially in the secondary. We know Jamal Adams is great. That's a given. But who's going to fill in for Marcus Maye? Doug Middleton? Pass. Hard pass. You really need to be able to play 15, 16 games regularly and not be someone who's playing 8, 9 games a season. That can't be productive. Marcus Maye is an older prospect too. I mean, he was drafted at what? He was like 24 when he came out, so he's 25, 26 years old now. That's the thing with him. If he was younger, you can maybe get by with it, but at 26 years old and injury prone, not really what you like to see for someone heading into year 3. On the field, when he's healthy, extremely good, but that's just the thing. Is he going to be able to stay healthy? That is my question for him, and he has to prove that. Obviously, right now he isn't healthy, but we need him on the field and quickly because they have no depth in the secondary whatsoever, and the safety position is supposed to be the strong suit of that secondary, and right now it's going to be a lot weaker if he's out of the lineup. Question number 4, is LeVeon Bell going to start rusty? Obviously, we know he didn't play at all in 2018, took the season off for the contract thing with the Pittsburgh Steelers, understand that. But in theory, he should be extremely fresh because he has that year off. But on the negative side, is he going to be rusty? He hasn't played in a while. Is he going to be able to come in and be the best running back in the league like we know he can be in 2017, 2016? I don't know if necessarily he's going to be the number 1 running back in the entire league, but I do think he's going to be a top 5 running back right away. And if you're getting that, that makes life so much easier for Sam Darnold. If you're getting 50% LeVeon Bell to start the year, not as easy, but 80, 90, 100% LeVeon Bell makes life 10 times easier, even more than 10 times easier than Sam Darnold because he creates so much more. Yes, the Jets don't have your prototypical number 1 wide receiver, but Robbie Anderson, Quincy Enunwa when healthy again, and Jamison Crowder is a pretty nice trio. Chris Herndon, when he comes back from suspension, nice tight end piece. But your safety valve, LeVeon Bell, he's great receiver, great in pass protection, and a great running back. Again, when you have someone who's trying to make a transition into year 2 and become even better and take the next step in development, it makes it so much easier to have someone to rely on. And for the first time in probably about a decade, the Jets have tremendous depth at the running back position. I mean, Le'Veon Bell, we know what he is. Ty Montgomery's pretty solid. They brought back Bilal Powell, which I was surprised about, but really happy about because I think he's one of the more underrated backs in the league. And then after that, Elijah McGuire, who was starting games for the Jets by the end of the year, he might not even make the roster because of everything that's going on with him. And Trenton Cannon, I think he's going to be a long shot to make the roster. Both those two guys who are getting major reps down the stretch are nowhere near the top of the depth chart, which is really a good thing for the Jets. But they have a ton of depth at that position, and they could even benefit more so if Le'Veon is ready to go from the jump. My fifth and final question for the New York Jets is, can they survive with a lack of pass rush? Now, Henry Anderson and Jordan Jenkins led the team last year with 7 sacks. Both guys are back, but they're not your prototypical, like, oh, I'm going to lead the team in sacks guy. And they didn't really address that in free agency. I was surprised with all the money that Mike McCagnon had to spend. He didn't address center, he didn't address pass rush, and he didn't address corner. 3 very important positions in today's game. Nonetheless, they are going to have to get by with pretty much a lack of a pass rush. Right now, yes, you brought in Quinnen Williams, but that's interior pressure. Are you going to be able to get it from the outside? I don't know. I'm high on Ja'Kai Polite. I think that's a good pick in the 3rd round, potentially really good value. He probably should have went in the 1st if he had like a semi-decent draft process going, but he really did not do well in the pre-draft process, so that's why he dropped to the 3rd round. Again, a really talented guy. It's just if he has the brains up here in order to figure it out. Raw talent is there, but are you going to be able to rely on him to be your sack leader in year 1? Probably not. He's probably going to start in a limited role where he's just coming in on 3rd downs to rush the passer. And then, I mean, who are you going to put in that position? Copeland? Don't love that. So, I mean, this is not a position of strength. It hasn't been since John Abraham was on the team, which is more than a decade ago. So, are you going to be able to get by? I don't know. Because if you could mask that with a strong secondary, that's one thing. But the Jets don't really have that. Sure, their best player happens to be in their secondary in Jamal Adams, but we just talked about Marcus Maye a couple of minutes ago. He can't stay healthy. Tremaine Johnson really underachieved in year 1, and your number 2 cornerback is Darryl Roberts. I like Darryl Roberts, but I think he's more of a 4 corner. I don't know. A lot of risk here on the defensive side of the ball. Potential to be very good, but the pass rush to me is something that's a question that needs to be answered. And we're going to see during training camp and the preseason if that's able to be answered. I'm really excited that football is back. Yes, I do enjoy watching baseball as well. As you can see from my stuff behind me that I am a Mets fan, but my team's not doing all that great. The Jets, I know they haven't done good in a long time, but I'm excited for football. Give me football. Inject it right in the veins. Let's go. So if you enjoyed the video, comment below, subscribe, like, review, all that fun stuff. More Jets content coming at you real soon. I'm excited to get rolling. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next time.